Wow, that's a big responsibility, the very last question. Okay. Hi, Flora. Thank you for taking your time to talk to us. You've partly answered my question, but I was really wondering if you could perhaps delve a little bit more into this subject. You kind of gave it away that you sort of approached the translation of the book from the point of view of a foreignizing. I don't want to go too deep into, putting it that way, but kind of a foreignizing strategy. And I was wondering if there was any kind of theorist or scholar in translation studies that helped you or guided you to come up with that strategy or to think of the book in that sense.
Yeah, I think, on the grand spectrum, between domesticating and foreignizing, I think that I absolutely position myself more towards foreignizing, even if not at the level of the language, then at the level of, you are going to have to come closer to Brazil than Brazil is going to have to come to you for this book to make sense. Um, in general, I have a difficulty often applying. It's funny. I can't remember now who wrote this, but if you look at the way that translators speak about, this is I followed this theory, and then you look at what they actually did, and it's so hard to just as no one lives by the letter of the Bible, no one lives by, I'm going to foreignize I'm going to domesticate every single word. I'm following this ever. We're just living word by word, clause by clause, sentence by sentence. And there was this fabulous study that I read once. I don't know if it was of A Cartomante, two different translations of Machado's short story, where one was allegedly the translators said we're foreignizing, the other one was read as being domesticating. And then they're like, we're going to count. These are, there are all these culture bound terms in the story, and we're going to see how many of them were actually foreignized and how many were domesticated. And when you look at the scoreboard, it's like they they're pretty much half and half. Some of them were a little different, but we're all just we're always compromising. We always wind up in the middle of the road. What I found most helpful, inevitably, even if it wasn't directly applicable to my text, was writing on translation by translators. So not necessarily even at the level of theory, but just reading other people's reflections about ways that they had interacted with their source text and the solutions that they'd arrived at. It felt I have a bit of a difficulty to bring the abstract down to, so much of translation theory. At sometimes I'd come to refer to it mentally as the peanut gallery. It was like people are talking about something over there, but I can't bring it down and make it help me on the page. With all due respect to translation theory, but when I was lost in the sea of Brás Cubas, a lot of uh, it didn't seem like a life raft. And other translators writing about their own process, inevitably, however different the work, however different the language, that would help me in some usually unpredictable way. So I can't recommend it enough. And that's why I try to write about my own process as well, because I think that it can be helpful to others, I hope. Thank you for the question.